Welcome to this very, very, very special edition of Strange New Pod. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of that giant century mark in the sky. We have Vice Admiral Erik, who is a few short months fixing.
You guys are on the wrong side.
No.
We're fixing the windows.
What's happening?
No one knows.
I love it.
I'm a hawk. Don't change anything. Yes,
We
who's
should
me?
do the 100th episode.
Oh,
of
Brit
All the
is
wrong
me.
people.
Too bad. I fixed
Hawk
it.
is Brett,
Fixed it. It's
and
done.
Julian is Julian.
I mean, I'll take that. I do.
No!
We're back to like the first episode of the show.
I
This
know.
doesn't happen all
I
the
know.
time.
Like, how fitting is it to have that happen in our 100th episode? It would have been the 100th episode without that happening.
It's very lower decks of us.
It is very lower decks of us. That being said, we have Vice Admiral Erik, who a few short months ago had the best fireside chat since the one at Chateau Picard.
Fuck yeah.
Commander Hawk is
Fireside?
here. Exactly. That was on purpose. Commander Hawk is here, and I haven't seen him as he is about Carol Kane, as excited as he is about Carol Kane since he got to roast the Picard Season 1 finale during Captain Picard Week. The bored queen of puns, Lieutenant Brittany, is here, whose puns will bring all the drones to the yard, and damn right, she'll assimilate yours. And finally, we have Captain Girafe, who, if I had a strip of latinum for all the times that she said Kelvinverse, I'd own my own quarks. Happy 100 episode, guys. How are we doing?
Yay.
Yay.
Living our best lives.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm excited
it's the
tonight. It's gonna be
best
fun.
moment of the week.
Best moment of the week. It is Strange New Pod. We are so happy to have you all here. Before we get into it, I am just going to say not just a thank you to our patrons, who we'll get to in a little bit, but everybody over the past however many years it's been now, Jesus, 2.5, maybe more, for joining us every single Thursday. It's been absolutely wild to have you here every single week with us, just shooting the shit about Star Trek. It is the highlight of my week. We're so happy to have you here. Let's get into it. That's right. If I haven't said it 1,000 times already, I'll say it 1,000 more. We're celebrating our 100th episode. And even though there is that running joke that we have a lot more than 100 episodes, but we just don't talk about that
We
because
named them bonus pods
we
too
named
early
them
on.
bonus pods too early on. We didn't know. But yeah, so and I just want to say, guys, how fitting is it, right? That this week's episode of Lower Decks is titled Room for Growth, because there's always room for growth here, and we're just gonna keep growing as well.
We knew it. We did it on purpose. That's
I wish that was the case. If
Come
honestly,
on.
My
just
puns are pretty growth.
wait, say it again.
I said some say my puns are pretty growth.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh.
they yes, they are.
That was
do-
gross with a lisp. You're welcome.
Get off my bridge.
There it is.
Let's
there
go.
it is. Tonight, guys, we will hear from our collective fellow podcasters, a couple of surprises to help us celebrate. And then meanwhile, on Lower Decks, episode 304, what happens when a senior officer room comes up for grabs up on deck 1, those penthouse suites? Who knows the Cerritos better, Boimler, Mariner, and Tendi, or their arch rivals, as I'll call them, Jellicoe's Delta Shift, those assholes, even though Jellicoe's not on the ship. And then also, does forced shore leave work for Rutherford and Billups and their team of engineers when Carol makes them all go to the Dove? We're going to break it all down, but first, Erik, we are back to you, good sir. We need to thank our amazing patron collective at the Ready Room level and above, some of whom have been with us, I think, from the very beginning, including Girafe, who used to be just a patron member, now is like
just.
And look
Girafe
at
was never
just-
just a patron.
no, she wasn't
for
just
growth.
another room for growth.
The
Room
day
I
that I
was
met
here.
Girafe online, I was like, she will be a host one day.
I was here the 1st of June when you opened the Discord, and I didn't want to like talk to you because I was like, oh my God, the podcast people, they're so cool.
Oh, those podcast people.
You're
But
not
now
cool
you're a
people.
podcast people.
Now I know you, and I'm not afraid anymore.
Meanwhile, I was like, does that giraffe have one F? I sensed French.
1F.
Indeed.
Yeah, so thank you to all these people. We couldn't be doing this podcast without you guys. Thank you to Simon Staker, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Jen Stein. You know what? I'm not going to read it super fast like I normally do, I'm going to give you guys some time.
Make voices.
Yeah, no. My voice is dying. I'm super sick.
Eric and I are both sick. He's sicker than I am,
Yeah,
but the sickness is...
So
We
reading
continue
all
the
these
thing that
names is
somebody's
really awesome for my
Sick
voice.
all the time.
Exactly. It has to rotate through the crew.
Always.
Jen
Brittany had a
Stein.
fucked eye. Sorry, Eric. I keep interrupting you.
No, I'll start from the beginning. You know what? Thank you to
Do it.
Simon Stager, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santo, Kung Hui, Takaka Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Kowalian Nightspray, Colin Davidson, who I hope is getting better, Alan Davis, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, MC Frodis, Michael Graham, Alex Miller, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Raul, Summer Ritchie, supporter of human rights, Maggie Light, Spurk,
Spurk.
Wayne Ritz, Scone of Arc, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Uradon,
You're done.
You're dead on.
Mahilani Uchiyama, Robbie Monster, and our newest collective member, Joshua Lewis.
Yay! New
Summer
collective
Richie,
members.
are you related to a winner Richie?
We'll find
I'm
out.
just kidding, I
Maybe.
don't know a
Oh,
winner,
no.
Richie.
No. Never mind.
I have to say that it's fun to listen to that list now because so many people are now friends and I didn't know them at all at the beginning. So, you know.
It is
I
really
also
cool.
like the flow
Special.
has basically stayed the same from the beginning. Like, I have been gone, and I still know the first, 25 names.
Yeah, right? They're there. They're there. They are like the OGs. They're on a capital ship now.
The OGs.
I like that Chris on Twitch understood my down with the sickness reference, and that's gonna hurt my throat. So I maybe shouldn't have done that, but Disturbed's one of my favorite bands, so well done, Chris. Really quickly, because we have a packed show tonight for our 100th episode. We have a couple of things coming up with Patreon Collective. I'll go first, and I'll let Giraffe talk about the table read. But this Sunday, which is perfect, coming up for our 100th episode, it is our first ever Philly Patreon Collective meetup at Craft Hall in downtown Philly. I want to thank everybody who did RSVP. We're going to have a great crowd for our first one. Can't wait to do more of them, but we'll see you all at 1 p.m. at Craft Hall downtown. Cannot wait. Giraffe, what's happening with that table read?
Yeah, so I have to look up on the Discord because I had to change the dates because of somebody, and now I don't remember what I said. So
It's the 20th.
The 20th.
It's the 20th.
okay, so
It's the 20th.
Apparently it's the 20th.
the 20th, Tuesday, the 20th, we will record our quarterly table read, and the votes are in. It's gonna be Washtuj. The free vessels, yes! I demand to be a Vulcan. I demand.
You could be a Vulcan. I think we can arrange that. We have a lot of parts that we have to draw for that. We'll try and do the draw for that this weekend. And one of our 10 forward patron members will be drawn to guest on that. Please let us know if you can't or would like to not be involved. That would be
People
great.
are already sending me DMs, so no
Okay.
worries.
Great. Perfect.
DM
Beautiful.
me and
They're
let me
sliding
know.
into that? Sliding.
Sliding into
warping into the DMs.
There's no other way to get in my DMs, all
Are
right?
the
Quantum
DMs just
strip
the
streaming.
Jeffrey streams of messages?
I think they are,
Slide in them
Brittany.
all the
They
time.
are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to go down that slide that Boimler went down. That looked like hella fun, which luckily did not have furnaces because that would have been the end of Bold Boimler. So,
Yet, one day.
He would have boldly gone where no Boimler had gone before.
he almost got fried in the Jeffries tube once before when Tom Paris was on board. Dude has some not great luck in
Get your
Jeffries
bowl
tube.
signed by Chakotay or whatever. My brother and I say that to each other all the time.
I love it. I think that's it for
One more thing.
patron stuff.
No,
Go ahead.
Not Patreon though. This is just pod stuff. I'm gonna be starting the test for YouTube streams in the next week. So if you see us go live on YouTube, it's just me playing the Lower Decks game or something like
Nice.
that.
If you see it,
on it.
subscribe, tell your
Hit that-
friends,
you gotta
tell your
smash that
cat.
like button.
I think Eric and I are going to maybe trade off. I haven't even talked to you about this, but I'm just going to surprise you now. I think you and I should trade off playing the Prodigy game with our kids streaming on YouTube.
Prodigy.
It's
game.
coming out. There's a Prodigy game coming out next month.
Oh, cool.
Right before the
I did
season.
not
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's pretty. I'm excited. The Lower Decks game is fun so far.
It's all right.
I think that's so. One other thing for patrons, I know there's some of you who have joined up and I haven't sent you your mail yet, like your welcome stickers. I'm going to do that at the beginning of next week. I've been crazy with back to school. It is happening. Thank you for your patience. I know. We have our first favorite host moment. And Erik, I had you read already. So you know what? I'm going to go kind of tonight in the order that everybody joined the pod. So Brittany, I'm going to have you read this first host moment that's on here, our favorite host moment.
I'm
No?
not the only one with not the outline. I
No,
feel better. I
have
feel
the
better.
outline. It's just I thought,
What?
oh, I have the wrong outline up. That makes sense. I was like, this doesn't.
I feel so much better.
Yeah,
100
someone else.
episodes, everyone. Woo!
100 episodes and no one gets the outline.
I was scrolling. Hold on.
Please tell me it's something saying that it's fun because we never
No,
have
it's because
the
I
outline.
scrolled
That does
back up.
come up later.
I scrolled up in our messages for the Zoom link, so I hit the wrong.
Yeah, that's my
I hit
bad.
the last episode.
That's
I
a
was on.
that's a -1 on me.
But I did read it ahead of time. I read it right after I watched the
Yay!
episode this morning, so don't worry. I was just like, oh no, where is it?
Yeah, me too. I totally read it.
Okay, favorite host moment.
Absolutely. I read it.
First
I-
off,
you guys are horrible
congratulations!
liars.
100 episodes is a great achievement, and you all have done it with great skill while keeping your discussions insightful and hilarious. My favorite moment has to be during your discussion of generations, and Brittany made a lit fam joke about the about Picard's. I couldn't even do this without laughing. About Picard's brother and nephew, which just cracked me up. Just the sort of twisted humor I love, and that pun absolutely nailed the landing. Thanks for being my favorite Trek pod. Kapla! And that's from Jeff Reeve, aka Andy Kaufman.
That's a good burn.
Yeah.
That's a good bird.
I like the way you
Yeah,
burn.
because I remember when I said it too, I was like, that was lit fam. And then I was like, get it? It's family caught fire.
Oh my god! Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yikes.
We actually have a few more favorite hosts and just favorite pod moments from our collective, and we're gonna read those because this is our Lower Decks swag box contest, and we're gonna announce the winners right
Who
now.
won? Who won?
Who won? We're going in the order. So Hawk, we're
Oh
on
shit!
you
I
now.
was supposed to pretend I read the outline.
Yeah, no,
Classic
you weren't. We
Giraffe.
know you don't read the outline. It's all good. Hawk,
Giraffe is
take
the
number
outline.
1. Who won?
Okay, so Fernanda
Um,
with our Lower Decks box.
Where's the applause button?
Fernanda!
Applause button.
I have it. Hold on. Where is it? There it is.
She got that LDB! Lower Decks box?
yep.
LDB. I like that. It's the
Lower Decks, Lower Decks, Lower
LDB.
Decks. LDB. That
And
LD
for-
energy.
Oh my god.
Which is just sampling
Going
fantasy,
to
by
be,
the way,
it's
but I
going to
love
be a
it.
very long episode. I
It's
feel.
going to be a very long episode
You guys
today.
pushed the time back on me, so you're getting a weird Brittany right now.
I like it. Keep going, Hawk.
So Fernanda wrote, I think my favorite moment was the Drunk Space Nine for though these are the voyages, and Giraffe's comments as she was watching the episode for the first time. Our drunk discussion after was amazing.
Giraffe
mean
is
when I was
peak
like-
Drunk Space Nine?
When I was like super happy that Trip died, and
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Because you had been mentioning it for months. Like, is Trip gonna die? Is Trip? I hate Trip. I hope he dies. And then he finally fucking dies, and you were just like
I feel
losing
so
your shit.
bad.
That reminds me, remember when we
Trainer is
did
the
Star Trek
best.
trivia on the show? And I have never seen the end of, or like more than one episode of Enterprise, and I was like, I don't know, does Trip die? And then you guys were like, he does! And I was like, I hope so. He's annoying.
Jessica writes, R.I.P. Florida man. Yes. Giraffe, can you take our second place, please?
Yes. MC. Yeah, MC.
MC.
He wins the set of Strange New Worlds badges. And MC wrote, my favorite moment from the show, I can't remember the exact episode, but it was shortly after I got to meet Girafe and Julian at Mission Chicago. I'd sent in a mailbag for the episode, and Julian was about to read it, but Girafe wanted to because I was her friend. And then Julian pointed out that I was his friend as well, and they both squabbled over me. Nothing makes a girl feel more a part of the podcast than being fought over by two of the hosts. At this point, I do think of all of the hosts as my friends, and I hope I can eventually meet Hawk and Erik as well. There is an irony that I haven't
ironic.
I haven't yet, since they are the ones who live closest to me. After 100 episodes, I think Strange New Pod is the friends we made along the way. Oh,
I
love
agree.
that.
Beautiful.
Hawk, you want to do
Love
a
it.
trip up to Ottawa?
Good.
Hey,
Well,
do
no, she's in
it.
Toronto.
I thought she was in Ottawa.
No,
You guys should
Toronto.
do
We should go to
you
Toronto.
should do a Canada Patron Collective and just Canada
Yeah.
Collective meeting.
I know.
They're
please.
Make
just
it
like,
happen.
here's the
Let's go to
time
the
in my
rec
schedule.
room.
Yeah,
And I
there
have
you
to
go.
say that
Fuck
MC
yeah.
has become my convention buddy, and we share rooms and we go to convention together. So
Nice.
yay!
Yay.
Yay!
I'm gonna go ahead and take third place. Finally, Lane Augustine wins the upcoming TNG badge from Fansets. It's not out yet, so when it is out, we will buy it and we will send it to you. So congratulations, Lane. And Shira, I'm going to have to go with your most recent episode with Girafe joining the podcast from LA and talking about her sweet cosplay outfit and the Romulan makeup glow up. Plus, her nails were even more on point. Nailed it.
Literally, have you
Hey,
seen those
and I was-
nails?
And I was eating an ice cream too at the same time. So
You were.
know,
It was dope.
party.
It was dope.
And yeah, I hope I get to meet Lane soon because we're actually, I think, neighbors.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Hey.
Cool. Okay.
Maybe.
Nice. Good stuff. We're gonna go and read more of the submissions that we got from our awesome collective. And Erik, we're gonna come back to you. Can you read Haven's, please?
Yes, of course I can. Haven wrote to us. I have been a part of the show since Bonus Pod, The Hope Is You Part 2, which took place between episodes 15 and 16. In that time, I've truly fallen in love with Strange New Pod. But honestly, my favorite host moment was when I changed my preferred name. One of the earliest replies I got was from Vocal Tomes, when she said, "It's been great having you here."
Yep.
As a pun on the words, it's been great having you here. Honestly, it's one of my favorite moments. But if it's on a show moment, it would have to be Julian with all the banter we have about who is the better Dax.
Jadzea and Brittany will back me up on that one too.
Just yes.
Yeah.
That's
I
kinda
get
neat.
why they had another Dax, but there is one Dax.
By the way, she was at Star Trek Day, and she's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. I just
She
have
is.
to say this. That's all. That's all I have to contribute on this.
Brick, you take Cassie's, please.
Cassie. Okay, Cassie wrote, "There are so many host moments I've enjoyed during my time listening to Strange New Pod, but I'm absolutely obsessed with Girafe does not read the outline to Girafe gets skipped pipeline. Y'all are a ship that remains on course despite yourselves, and I love every second of it. I've had so much fun listening to each of you play off each other during the course of this podcast. Thanks for, well, being y'all. Here's to another 100 episodes."
Yay!
I
Yay.
agree. It's funny every time, even though we expect it. It's like, that was on
is.
the outline? I didn't read it.
Okay, I'm gonna read the outline for 100 episodes.
Reading it right
I
now
will.
doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. No, come on.
Well, there's no more Strange New Loop, so I don't really have to prep for
What do you mean there's
anything.
no
I
more
just-
Stranger Loop? There's a Stranger Loop in this episode. The Stranger Loop came back with Lower Decks. We've been doing it for the past 3 weeks.
Oh my god.
We
Where have
have?
you been? Yes.
Remember the weird nightmare?
The weird one that you didn't like.
Yeah. The crystal
Okay.
one. That was last week?
Dreams and nightmares?
Girafe has been super busy over the last couple of weeks.
No, this just, I mean,
true.
listen, Cassie's
Thank you.
favorite moment is just ringing true in this episode. as
Raph
it
is like,
should.
if it's not a paper I'm grading, it's gone from my mind now.
And that's fair. MC writes Girafe and the outline can't exist in the same place at the same time. It's like the Kelvin verse. It just,
It's a parallel thing, yeah.
Raph
it's
doesn't read
like
the
this, yes.
syllabus.
yeah.
Before the
I don't even write it, so it's okay.
Hawk, can you take Chris's
Yes.
moment, please?
Absolutely. Chris wrote, "I joined the podcast later than most in the mailbag. Lucky enough to have a handful of episodes with the board Queen of Puns.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's
I
me.
love listening to everyone cringe as pure gold was dispensed. I loved Eric's tales and how much he confuses Julian at times.
Only sometime.
Hawk is
fact.
constantly such a leveled individual with great insight. Oh.
And we have to
I
clap
agree.
because, like, in our
Agree.
group, that's like, yes. Good job.
It's like you have 8 chaos gremlins and then Hawk who's like, I'm an encyclopedia.
Except on our Picard season 1 wrap up, he went fucking full ham.
I know.
Needed to
Terrible.
happen though.
They did
Good.
what?
Could happen again.
Sure will.
But nothing can beat meeting Girafe and Julian, walking into the bar and hearing Girafe guffaw. Realizing I
What does
recognize
that even mean? What is
It means like
guffaw?
a belly
means
laugh,
a
a
hearty
good laugh,
laugh.
a hearty laugh.
I never do that.
You have
It's
a
not-
distinct
Giraffe, you literally.
There it is.
It's a guffaw. Realizing I recognize them from the couple of times I looked up their pictures online. I didn't want to bother, so I just told them I love the
Creepy
It's
show.
not creepy. We have it on the website.
Not
No, it's
creepy
true.
at
It's
all.
on the website.
I didn't want to bother, so I just told them I love the show and sat by myself. Julian brought me a sticker and thanked me for liking the pod. It made me feel so welcome that it made my entire first con the best experience ever.
Aw.
They were so gracious the whole weekend, even when I felt
We were
like
very
a weirdo.
drunk.
Aw.
We
We're
were
very
very
drunk. That's what I was very
Like, here's the
gracious because
sticker.
I'm very
Here's the
drunk.
Even when I felt like a weirdo, almost clinging on here and there. Some shenanigans were had and priceless memories were made. Because of that, I'm now on Discord and feel I've finally found a community outside of music scenes that I really feel connected to and a part of. This pod is often my favorite moment. I even stream and interact while working late because its compassion has meant so much to me. I can't wait to see where it and our community go in the future. That is just
Yay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
lovely.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
That
you,
was
Chris.
lovely.
I know
by the
Chris
way-
said they feel like a weirdo almost clinging on, but a weirdo cling on? That's perfect. That's how we all feel.
I have to say that
Kidding me?
Chris is the life of the party on our
It's true.
happy hours. And he was dressed as a clown playing trombone yesterday night. And I am the only host to witness this. So I actually have a picture.
Nice. It's like, prove it
And,
happened.
That's
Nice.
hilarious.
Two more moment together, Chris.
Without further ado, we're gonna do that strange loop that Draft didn't think was happening. Here we go. And this is an easy one. Maybe it's not if you didn't prepare, but we just read our collective favorite moments from our hosts. Like, what are your guys' favorite host moments? Something one of us, or you could mention all of
Floor
us. It
pie.
doesn't matter.
Floor pie.
Eric
I was going to say the floor pie
Floor
too,
pie.
because Jesus, the floor pie was insane.
It broke us, all of us.
It broke,
for a long
broke
time.
the whole thing.
minutes
For a
upon
long
minutes upon minutes.
Floor pie.
I feel like we
I
need to
still
post a
look
clip
back
of
and try
that.
to wonder like how it all went downhill so fast.
And I love the fact that only some of us got the joke and then it spiraled from there.
It was worse because then I was like, people don't look it up, don't Google.
I may have missed a host moment. It may not have made it into the mailbag, so give me 1 second because I'm going to pull that up.
When me and
Keep going, though.
Girafe and Hawk took over the podcast and it was just pure chaos.
No.
Yeah.
The Foreign Bureau of Strange New Pod.
That was the
Yes.
fireside chat that should have just been a bar side
Oh, where
chat.
everybody got promoted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
got
all
promoted.
gave each other promotion because like Americans will not give us promotion. So, you know, we did that by ourselves.
We have to.
Yes.
Well, at least me and Hawk are sad. Like, we lost our monarch. Like, we have to get promoted again, right?
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I had a moment of like, there's a
being
king of
serious?
Canada, and
There
then
is
I
a king
laughed
of
at
Canada.
myself
There is
because
that.
I didn't-
was the king of Canada.
I didn't even give myself a promotion when I started this podcast with you all. I was like, I'm coming in as an ensign.
I would have given you a promotion.
Could have came in as anything.
Wait, no,
Yeah, that's
you're an
right.
American. You can't. Oh, you're part Canadian.
I'm gonna. It's true. I'm gonna interrupt our host moments to go back to Jesco's because it didn't make it onto the outline for some reason. So I'm gonna read that because I have it right here on Discord. Jesco wrote, "My reason for picking this moment is that when I was able to meet many of the wonderful Strange New Pod hosts in Chicago, on Sunday night we were able to have a collective dinner at the hotel, and after lots of good eats and drinks, we all sang Faith of the Heart in the restaurant. Not as a group of Trekkies, but as friends. So due to this, my favorite moment is the host sing-along from a few weeks ago. That chat went wild, and I'm sure everyone was smiling and having fun. But for me, it was also a memory of a very special evening that I'm sure I'll cherish for many years more. Cheers to 100 episode, and here's to many more. Live long and prosper, and rock on." Woo!
Wonderful.
Thank you,
Yes.
Jessica.
Miosh. That's from Malin.
Love it. Any other favorite host moments from you guys?
I will start out.
Yes, Brittany.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, if you've listened to our show or watched from the beginning, you know that in every episode, there's at least one moment that you can recount as being like the best moment of the episode. So I dare you to go back and rewatch them all and pick your favorite host moments, because do it. People binge watch all the time.
And
Binge
then
our
watch it
show.
on YouTube.
Yeah, watch
Yeah.
on YouTube. Oh,
Watch
remember
on
when
YouTube.
you used to do the edits? Oh my god.
Yeah.
And you had the pun count in the corner?
That took
Oh, yeah,
don't
it's
have
a quick.
time
Dude, you were like, I was just like,
I
dude,
was
you
like,
need to
I
not.
get home
You
at
need
10.
to not.
I
Yeah,
can
you
only
need to
edit
not.
So long.
Yeah.
I picked two favorite moments. So one, okay, my favorite like crew moment has to be when we all did the live, the Star Trek like quiz thing.
Oh, the
Oh my
trivia.
God,
that
it
was
was
so
so
much
How
fun.
competitive we all got with each other, and like I didn't expect to do as well as I did
Spock
because
sucks!
I was like I'm like a passive Star Trek fan, but then I was like when they had like that bomb that went off in the meeting or whatever, I was like, well, obviously it was like a plasma thing, and it was like ringing in, really intense. That was one of my favorite moments. Obviously, every table read I also really enjoy, but if I have to pick one moment from the whole entire length of episodes I did with you guys, it would have to be when we had our very first guest on the show that wasn't another podcaster. It was somebody who'd actually worked on Star Trek, and that was Ian Alexander, who I brought on, my friend, who I'd been mutuals with for quite some time. And I think that was the point for me where I realized I was like, people liked our show already, but I think it was one of those things that made people realize that also we were a podcast to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So that helped us later on get more guests, people who actually had worked on the shows then knew about us, and they're like, oh, Ian was on your show. Yeah, I'd be interested in being on this. And Ian was just such a wonderful guest. It was a lot of fun. That was my first time really like...
They were awesome. Yeah.
Ian
Ian
hang
was
out.
such a
So,
great guest. I don't
Ian's the
remember. I
best.
remember I had to do the interview out in my kitchen, and that this is like way back when I was still sorting out like
Hey, remember my cat pulled out my like Ethernet
Oh
cord?
yeah.
I like froze at the end when we were about to like geek about D&D. So yeah, that was one of my favorite overall moments for our show, and I think that we just have accelerated since then. Look at all the amazing people we've had on since then. Got the ball rolling. Makes
Nice.
me happy.
That's a great answer.
I have
Well-
to say that we have like many moments where we laugh, and like the floor pie will live forever,
Just
you
tears.
know.
There's a meme. It'll never go away.
And I like the fact that the most disgusting joke and insane joke we've ever done that broke the podcast was during Prodigy.
Prodigy. We
Of
couldn't even
all
curse during that.
things,
We couldn't even curse during
and we
that.
didn't even curse during like during the, which
Oh my
like
god.
adds to the insanity of the floor pie. But
I want to be on Prodigy so bad. Lower Decks
yes.
is like number one for
We
me,
want
but
you to
then
be on
Prodigy is number two.
Prodigy.
You could be an
That would be
animated floor
dope.
pie.
oh my god, do not start.
Not on a children's program. But yeah, it would be cool.
And I think for me the best moment was not during the podcast, but outside of the podcast, when Tony Newsom said, like, recognized me and said that, "Hey, Girafe from the podcast. I listened to
Yeah.
it," and that broke me so bad. I think I called Julian and started screaming in the phone.
You did. You did.
Listen, when Tawny knows who you are, it's just amazing.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
But it's true that like we started this during the pandemic. You started this during the pandemic. I joined after, but for me it was kind of a life. What do you call that?
Life raft.
Lifeline. You know, I had nothing to do. I was far from home. It really let me be the Trekkie I always wanted to be, because I was a bit like a Trekkie in the closet. You know, like a nerd in the closet. Yeah, and I've made friends that are my friends, and I don't have other friends, you know. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, I think that's all the things that come from being here, and that come outside, like being on Star Trek Day, and you know, be able like to show all the thing I make and creating relationship from there. So yeah, that's
so
my
many nice
favorite.
friends and connections. I agree.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's
The
wonderful. Like
friend.
the Discord. I still tell people, I'm like, if you like Star Trek, like you need to join this Discord. You need to do this.
Yeah, the
Spam
friends
that
we
link on
made
Twitter,
along
guys.
the way.
Make
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Cheers.
More?
Another cheer.
So I guess my favorite moments is probably when we did the DS9 documentary and review.
Oh, that was
yeah.
so
Yep.
good.
I
Because
know.
Giraffe was not here.
You were here in spirit.
I'm pretty
You
sure.
were here. You've been here the whole
Giraffe,
time.
you've always
That was the
been here.
episode
You were just
where-
in the Jeffries tubes, and then you were like,
Yes.
I'm in command
Exactly.
The Jeffrey.
The
We should
hologram.
rename the Twitch chat and eventually YouTube chat the Jeffries tube.
If
I
only
mean,
they
like-
let you do that.
I know.
now. They're the collective, and I'm glad they kept that name. I started that.
I
did.
started that.
You did?
I
Who
did.
start?
I did.
Okay, fight, and we'll see
Fight.
who started it.
I can go back and prove that I made a pun in an episode, and we became the collective because of it.
I want to see this fight. I want to see it. I
Oh
wanna
my
see
god,
Yeah,
it's
go,
okay.
fight.
Eric, I'll share ownership.
Yeah, sure. I'll find it.
it. Keep going.
My
yeah.
turn. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the episode we all cried in. All of us.
Yeah, I know, and that was kind
All
of
of
the
us.
thing. I mean, like it's when we were talking about Far Beyond the Stars, and I think at that point, it's like it seemed like we kind of opened up a vein, and everybody, we got to know each other a lot better at that point. And I know Star Trek is here, we're here for a good time, and we love our laughs and that. But Star Trek also ends up bringing out a lot of deep emotions in that.
Of the
for
deep
us.
dives.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
the best moments.
Yeah,
Some of my
I
favorites.
miss doing some of those pods. I know it's just like we're doing like all the episode reviews these days, but some of those deep dives were some of like just the best moments this pod's ever had, and I miss those a little bit. But yeah. Eric,
I did
or was
mine
Floor
first.
Pie your answer?
No, I did the foreigners take over.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
the
The
fireside
Foreign
chat. Okay.
Bureau.
Yes. So Hawk said my answer from when we did our 2-year anniversary when we were doing some of like our favorite pod moments. So I won't say the DS9 documentary, even though that still remains my favorite episode of the pod. So I'm gonna lighten the mood a little bit, even though Erik did do the fireside chat and promoted everybody
Floor Pie.
at Floor Pie. We were wrapping up Captain Picard Week, our first ever podcast festival, and we were
Exhausted.
we were exhausted, and we were respectfully, while also being very judgmental, trying to wrap up and look back at Star Trek Picard season 1. And when we got to the finale, and it was Hawk's turn to go, he just went, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like Mariner, and just like Hawk, who is like someone mentioned already in their moments, like is always the calm, cool, collected one. To just go off on this was just like
I love when Hawk goes
so
off.
epic and beautiful, and everything I needed in that moment. And I love angry Picard season 1 finale Hawk. It makes me so happy to this day.
Bad writing brings it out of the worst in me.
I remember the day you watched that episode and you messaged me as you watched it, and it was just like angrier and angrier. And I was like, what happened to Hawk?
I don't even remember
Doesn't
what I
beat-
wrote with you.
It doesn't
was a
beat
lot.
you two watching the finale of The Expanse. I had seen the finale and I was just watching your two faces watching it. And I was like, oh,
So
that's
much
that
crying
moment.
on a podcast.
That was incredible. That was the best thing
This is
ever.
what you get to look forward to, Julian, in the Expanse.
I'm loving it so far. We have to
How
start
far are
back
you in
up again this
season
week. We watched
I-
2 episodes, and then we all got tired. So we're gonna get.
I just want just like watching the finale. I was like, I want to see these two watching the finale.
Yeah.
That's all I want to. I just want to look at them and see what happens.
It broke us.
Before we finally, this was very much about our 100th episode and celebrating that as much as our review of Lower Decks. So we're gonna do one more quick congrats. We reached out to some of our friendly podcasters who we've come to love and know, and we have our first one from Matthew Kaplowitz from Trek Untold, and Erik is going to play that.
Hey everyone, this is Matthew from the Trek Untold podcast. I'm currently editing season 3 of my show, which is going to be returning on September 15th, but I had to take a break to wish the crew of Strange New Pod congratulations on hitting the big 100. You've officially beaten Star Trek Enterprise when it comes to number of episodes. Just be careful on anybody who wants to guest star on your show whose name is Chef. Strange New Pod is just about as unique as it comes, and it proves that the menagerie isn't just an original series episode because, well, your show has a hawk and a giraffe. But for real, this is truly an epic milestone, and I hope your show continues to be as plentiful as a herd of tribbles who just devoured a truckload full of Viagra. So, welcome to Triple Digits Land, and I can't wait to visit with you all again and talk Trek. So, until then, one more time, huge congrats to the entire crew of Strange New Pod. Farewell, and as always, don't forget to move along home.
Oh, that was super
Great
sweet.
match.
Oh my God. Like, I think Hawk or Ben Them is the menagerie. That's what is happening.
There was apparently some echo, but
Yeah, I see
oh
that.
well. No, not a problem. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. That was I love that. He actually after he recorded it was like, was that too like roasty? I'm like, no, that was
That's what we
Perfect.
want.
perfect. That's what we
The
want.
roast
That's
of
our
Strange New
mood.
Pod.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just going to announce this now because we talked about it about a month, not even a month ago, like a few weeks ago when I reached out to him about doing a video for us. He wanted to come back on the show for Lower Decks and asked if he could do the Lower Decks finale with us. So I'm just gonna say it. Matthew Kapelis, Trek Untold, going to be here for the Lower Decks finale. So can't wait for that. Speaking of Lower Decks, let's get into the episode. Finally, it is episode 304, Room for Growth. Our roundtable order will be Erik, Brittany, Hawk, Girafe, who I will definitely skip over at least once during this, then myself. It wouldn't be appropriate if I didn't. So let's go into it, guys. We've had, I think, cold opens for every single episode this season so far, and we haven't really talked about them, but this one was so fucking good that we couldn't pass up talking about this one. Carol goes all Data in masks, TNG season 7, as Manuki wreaking havoc in the Lower Decks, wearing a mask and turning everything to stone and whatever the hell it was. It's only a few seconds, but how classic is this, Erik?
So fucking classic because of that, that terrible. Well, I didn't like that TNG episode.
No, we did a Drunk
Nobody
Space
likes
Nine
masks.
episode on
Okay.
masks.
Yeah, okay, so good. So
I
I'm
love
not
that
the only one who-
episode.
That episode is so fucking weird, but it was such a funny episode, and I can't. It makes me think of back to that TNG episode, and I can't imagine what those Lower Decks on the Enterprise were going through, because there's got to be that crazy shit like that too, right? I very much enjoyed that they were just like, oh fuck, this is gonna happen. This is again another mask, and I just tuned my violin. As a person who owns like I don't know, 20 or more string instruments, just string instruments. It's that pained me, right here. So
It just got turned into a weird random stone, man.
that's just no
Little
man.
statue.
I guess he could just replicate it again. Poop violin. But anyway, yeah, super classic. I loved it. It was a great cold open. And I
Nice.
think the first one that made me laugh, like guffaw Girafe out loud.
Rafa.
Oh, giraffe? Is it a giraffe? Is that
Giraffe.
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 Brittany, what'd you think of the cold open?
I loved this cold open because like immediately when it happened and she's just like floating through the hallway with the mask, I was like, oh my god, that fucking episode. And I love that Mariner was like, how are you guys, this is the third time it's happened. It's always some ancient object, like, Jesus. And they're just like, they're so over it. But yeah, Boimler with his little violin at the end, that's just like, oh man, I just finished.
I love that moment, right? Because we've seen this so much with Mariner before, right, Brittany? Where she just is like so done with it and just it doesn't even phase her anymore. But when they are like later in the episode going for the computer and that happens, she's like, yeah, like if that happened, if I had a room, I could just close my door. That would be so nice. Loved it.
Exactly.
Hawk.
She's like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
another
Yeah.
weird relic thing happens,
Yeah.
we just close our door.
Yep. Hawk.
It was super classic, but more importantly, it helped kind of establish the whole theme of the A plot for the episode. You know, because they're already cramped in there, like just cattle.
Did your towel get any smaller?
two,
Could
two,
you get
peop-
yourself a bigger towel?
two people each hanging out on a bed, and they were just trying to, knocking stuff over here and there, and then this wondrous thing happens in that where the captain gets possessed by the mask, and that Manuke, I got to bring up something a little later about that, but yeah, it perfectly kind of fit, the theme of the episode. And they were just like, all this, this weird shit just keeps happening, and just like, completely inconveniences them. It's perfect.
You know what would have been funnier? If instead of a violin, he had a manukelele.
Amazing.
Girafe, unmask you how you
Self-destruct
felt about
sequence
that
has
movie.
been initiated. Warp core overload in 7 minutes.
That pun initiated
got lost.
self-destruct. No, your first. That was for your first one. I'm sorry, Britt. I was.
It's okay.
Yeah, my bad. Draft.
Sorry, I'm arguing on the Twitch.
I know about the worst episode of TNG.
About the worst episode of TNG, and what is the hot
You and I
take that
agree. You and I agree.
Mask is the worst episode of TNG. I am sorry. The worst episode of TNG is Up the Long Ladder and Code of Honor. And I will find anybody that think that Up the Long Ladder and Code of Honor are not insanely
Joe says
insanely
Joe does
insulting.
say though that I don't hate Shades of Grey, to which I say it's not an episode. It's a
Yeah, isn't it like a book series? and a
It's just
film?
like it's like the menagerie. It's just like a clip.
yeah, it's a clip show.
Yeah.
So
I think I
Miniature's
got beef
good.
with Haven.
what? Hey,
Haven wrote
Beef?
Family, season 4, episode 2. One of
Wait.
the worst episodes.
Family?
That
Family is not
an
worse than Up
amazing
the Long
Yeah, that's an
Ladder.
amazing
Yeah,
episode.
I'm sorry. Yes. And I would have Family is the one where he goes to France and it's not
Yeah,
France.
and he lets out
Yeah.
all his shit.
Oh,
I have
know.
like
I
a lot of
expected
beef
to
with
happen
it.
with Lo Mein, you know? At least halfway there.
I have a lot of beef with track beef, with Family for like reason, but it's a good episode, and I like the thing with like the Roshenko and all this. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and we're
It cannot
super
be
embarrassed.
worse than a racist episode,
Yeah.
guys. Please.
I think Up the Long Ladder is more racist than Code of Honor. No.
I don't know.
absolutely
Code of
agree.
Honor is
Yeah,
really
no,
I'm
Code
gonna-
of
okay.
Honor is super racist too.
I have.
This
I
reminds
have
me
an
of that
opinion
meme
on
where it's
this.
like, I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at like animal cruelty. I can excuse a racist Star Trek episode, but I draw the line at masks.
I draw the line. Like, I'm gonna tell you, Up the Long Ladder is like clearly offensive and racist towards a very clear group of people, right? And they're not even like space alien or whatever. Code of Honor is absolutely racist, but at least they don't say Africans are
Yeah.
useless like they do in Up the Long Ladder. Like,
Yep.
it's gross and it's terrible. And by the way, the same episode was sold to Stargate too, so
Yep.
let's give some grief
True.
to Stargate. The exact same episode by the same person, but that's another like conversation. What was the question?
Manuki, the cold open. What'd you think? Did you like it? Did you love it? Was it
Okay,
classic?
so first of all, I fucking love Mask. I don't know what's up with like people who don't like Mask, because I'm a former archaeologist and Mask is like everything corny I like about if you like Stargate, how the hell don't you like Mask? It's the same
I love
stupid
Stargate.
stuff,
Stargate's fun.
right? And I live for Masaka is walking. I love that episode. So,
Masaka is waking.
fucking yeah, it's waking. Sorry, and like all the freaking like plants everywhere for no reason. You feel like they just stole all the plants from like random offices in
Yeah, they just
Paramount to
stole
put them in like. So that cold open, and by the way, it was in the trailer, and I love it, and I love seeing people cosplay that mask too. You see like people having just the mask, and I think it's why we watch TNG. It's corny and dumb, and it's why we like Star Trek. There are great episodes and deep episodes, but I love the stupid episode. I like Move Along Home. Like, come on, Mask is great. Loved it.
This is like the exact cold open I needed this season. I thought like it, all the others kind of like tied to the episode. And this ties to the episode a little bit, but it's still very much like stands on its own. And I was saying to Brittany earlier, like I love the Mariner bit where she just still doesn't give a fuck. She's just like, come on, like you should know better. I'm just an ensign, and y'all should know better. Like, knock this shit off. Stop touching things. Even though Mariner did in the premiere season 2, but we won't talk about that. She's responsible for Ransom becoming like Ransom God mode, which was hilarious
But she kicked
too.
him in the ball.
She kicked him in the ball, so it all works out. I love the cold open. Before we get into our main 2 plot points of this episode, we have one of our first surprise guest congrats, and I'm just gonna let them speak for themselves. So here is that.
Good evening, Majram. Shalom, everyone. This is Lieutenant Commander Nami Melumad with an important message for Strange New Pod. Mazel tov on your 100th episode. That is such a great accomplishment. And as a big fan of your podcast, I love the insights, the humor, the analysis, and of course the puns. I listen not all every week, but I'll always catch up with the episode later. So you know, I'm about to start my 37th episode for Star Trek, and I know how much effort and dedication goes into making episodes and making content. So you have my full appreciation and support. Congratulations. I look forward to listening to your upcoming reviews of Star Trek Prodigy coming this October. Mazel tov, and have a great evening.
Yay! Thank you so much, Nami.
Oh, she's so
That
great.
was Mazel Tov tier.
Jesus Christ!
That was just for Nami.
Oh my God! God!
I have to say that I got to get to know Nami a little bit more because like we're like close geographically, and she's such an incredible composer, and what she does for Star Trek is, I don't know.
Otherworldly.
I don't know how to. Yes. Like genius level. Because I think I that's what I like in Stranger, but I have to say is that we have all these. We don't get the big stars, right? But we get we get all these people who make Star Trek what they are, what it is, like the music, the editors, the
costumes,
Star Trek
writers,
with costumes,
yeah,
writers, which is so instrumental of creating that show we love, and I'm so looking forward to watching Prodigy. And I have to say that I remember the first episode of Prodigy, and we didn't know Nami, we didn't know who she was, and I say on the podcast, the music has no business being this good.
I think we also
I remember Erik and I were like
the
losing our shit
soundtrack
about it.
music.
Yeah. It was. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm pretty sure we do have one of the big Star Trek stars on the podcast. We have Patrick Stewart right here, obviously.
Yeah, obviously he's here every week.
I have to say yes.
I'd argue that we have had
There's me confusing.
Nami, thank you so much. We can't wait to hear what you've come up with for the back half of season 1 for Prodigy. We can't wait to talk about it, like you said, in just a few short weeks. That's like super exciting. Let's continue.
So
I know. Let's continue with our episode review of Room for Growth. We're gonna stick with Mariner and Tendi and Boimler and their race to get the big penthouse suite on deck 1 and rig the system so they can get it. So they go on this amazing adventure. What is that?
It's Erik. It's Erik writing whatever on Twitch. I'm telling you.
I'm not typing.
Busted.
Oh.
I was not typing.
What was it?
Someone typing? No?
I mean,
No?
I was typing. I guess
Busted!
I was typing a note.
Mine's a clicky.
It sounds like elephants. Oh my God.
I turned my gain up for you guys, and now you can hear my types.
So they go on this amazing adventure to beat out those evil asshole Delta shifters so they can rig the computer to give them each individual rooms on deck 1 from just like anti-grav boy standard issue, like weird ass swamp decks on a starship, hallucinogenic properties in there in that swamp, Manuki aqueducts. What did we think about their adventure to try and rig this system and ultimately, obviously not being able to, Erik?
This was my favorite part of the episode. Like this storyline, like you know how much I love Rutherford. So he already has like an up in storylines, but this was amazing. I love those old school university movies where, hijinks, like one residence is, or one fraternity is out to go on an adventure, and they have to change their grades, so they have to go to the dean's
Lambdas
office,
versus the Delta Chi.
Exactly. So this is exactly what that was. It's mixed in with a little bit of those old Stephen King, Steven Spielberg movies where it's like a bunch of friends going on an adventure and getting into hijinks.
Yeah,
totally. Stand By Me.
Thank you, Brittany. I was gonna say Stand By Me.
Stand
Goonies,
By Me, especially when they were sitting in that one room and they were just sort of talking together, and then their enemies came in and they're like, oh no, we're all friends now. like that was such a Steven Spielberg or Stephen King, like happy Stephen King moment. It was such a fun rollicking adventure, and it felt so awesome to have all of these different like different aspects of things I love. They had like Willy Wonka in there. They had a cool like hallucinogenic sequence. They had that black and white
Oh, with Shax and
Shax.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god. But it reminds you of Picard's like detective adventures
Yeah.
on TNG and how he would do stuff like that and how he turned off the safety protocols in First Contact. And like the dirtiness between T'Ana and Shax made me cry. Does
Know
Daddy
how I
want
lost
to?
my tail? I never tell you.
The one that
I bought the T-shirt.
the one that broke me was does Daddy need a
The suckle.
Yes.
Diane
Diane's your kinky sex name?
took this away.
It was such a good moment, and it's probably one of my favorite Lower Decks storylines. It was a romp that I loved.
MC writes Picard, but Picard doesn't fuck in the holodeck. We
That
don't
we
know
know.
that. That we know. That we know.
You don't really know.
It doesn't exist if you don't get busted.
Exactly. Brittany, your thoughts on this?
I'm gonna agree with Erik here that I love the A plot so much that as much as I still love Rutherford and his own story with his, little engineer buddies, I almost wish that all four of them could have been on this journey together, because their friendship, they've been friends like since the beginning, but like they really have grown together over the seasons where it feels so earned that they're this like tight little like they all love each other. There's this little like family unit. And I loved seeing them go through this whole thing because they want so bad that to get out of the lower decks that they're cramped. And like going into the episode, you're like, they're all gonna end up in their bunks. by
Yeah,
the
it's
end
not
of
going to
this
happen,
anyway.
right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But
And
towards the
actually-
end, I had that moment where I was like, no, they could just win this room, and all four of them could just live in there, right?
Same. I was like, come on.
And when they didn't do it, I was like, no, you idiots! And then
We were
right
all
afterwards,
Rutherford in that moment. Yeah.
And when he came back, he was like, what are you talking about? We all wanted this. But yeah, they were hell pent for that penthouse. But the Delta Squad is a shifty bunch.
Shifty bunch.
If anyone can do it, they could have. But anyway, shut up!
Bam!
Everybody's
I love-
just like shutting up and looking at the screen, being like, "What the fuck?"
A quick left and then a hard right.
I just love seeing them go through the ship, because the thing is, like, you always see like parts of the ship based on what the plot is. Like you had a little bit of the Jeffries tubes. If like Rutherford's working in it, or Boimler's running in it because he's trying to find like Tom Paris, and that's interesting. But I just love how they're like they went through all these different ways, and like there's this weird swamp, and then the hallucinations. Like I
know what
love
it
their
reminded me
interactions
of?
with each other.
It reminded me
Yeah.
of Galaxy Quest when they were going through the different parts, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Why is this here? There's no
No,
reason for
that's
this
what
to
it
be
felt
here."
like. Yeah. And I love how she was like, "Sorry, I broke you out of your egg," and then she was just like,
Like,
"It was just
it's
really
alright.
warm in there."
It's my favorite part of the episode. That's
The
my favorite
egg.
part. The
Sorry, I
egg.
made you a hatch.
I'm really sorry.
But yeah, the B plot, I definitely know why it was necessary, because I like seeing that people have to realize the stress they're under, and like it served a purpose, and I love seeing the engineers just cannot stop being engineers. But it also shows that there are some people there. It's like, no, but this is how I then unstress, is still doing the same thing, but on my own terms. But Carol, like, yelling at them when she's being taken away because they find out she's the most stressed, and she was just like, I have a bunch of fucking Geordie LaForges! And I was just like, oh my god, Carol!
Oh, Carol. Yeah.
Dove, the little Dove people, when they made that machine at the end that just gets rid of stress, and you see that lady, and she's like, this could ruin everything. Now we know what Prince was talking about. That's what it sounds like when Dove cries.
Oh my God.
And that's the end of my review. I loved it.
And that's the end of the podcast. Thank
love
you
it.
very much. Live long and prosper. See you next week.
Oh my God.
I love them so. I love these characters. Hold on. I just want to say one more thing. From a voice actor perspective, this has nothing to do with the review of the episode. I'm just ranting. Like, I can watch stuff and obviously think of it just in the lens of the show, but then I can also watch things and, it's like when you know how a movie is made. You're like, oh, that's a really gory effect, but I know the props they did to do this. They did a great job. The way they act these characters out, like, they feel like real people. Like, Mariner, Rutherford, like, they all, the way their quirks and the way they're acted, I'm just like, I feel like they're my friends every week. Like, I come back to them and I'm like, my buddies, we're back. I feel like the 5th member of the gang, even though I'm not. And yeah, I just want to say props to those voice actors because they get it.
Nice.
The end.
Hawk.
So I've realized that this show is pretty much, it draws a lot of influence from Seinfeld, right? Because like, you know, the goal was for a room assignments, you know, which that's
I get more
typical
friends than Seinfeld from Lower
because
Decks.
it's about nothing, you know. It's like the goal was just like, you know, new quarters, right? Which is, you know, and
maybe just because I don't like Seinfeld, I don't know.
In the grand scope of Star Trek and that, it's a pretty, you know, for a mission of the week and that, you know, it's pretty down there, right? You know, it's like getting that table at the Chinese food restaurant, you know, if anybody remembers that episode. And yet,
I was just thinking my own Chinese food place. I was
no
like,
idea what we're talking about.
Trust me, if you watch Seinfeld, you'll get it. And that, you know, it's like it's something that doesn't matter, and yet they go on this journey and that, and they almost, I mean, what was it? Twice they almost died trying to get this done. Like first, like, you know, with the not just the hallucinogens, but also like hypoxia and that, you know, from like, you know, from oxygen deprivation.
The anti-gravity room.
Anti-gravity room that turns out to be part of the deflector dish and that which suddenly has to get turned on. Like they went through all this trouble and they still didn't get it, you know. And, you know, you asked about, like, why, you know, the entire time I was thinking, like, you know, why didn't they just get the room and all 4 of them could live in there if they get the room, right?
Dude, I was thinking, thinking the same
Like
exact
Buffett.
thing.
But you have to remember that, yes, they almost died and they were suffering from hypoxia, which probably caused a bit of brain damage and that. So
They're like, we were just so tired.
Dude, once Dr. Tiana's done, like, you know, having bones with Shaq, she could fix that,
I
right?
respect that Tendi was willing to get shot in the face to find out that answer.
Find out
She
the
was like,
secret, right?
I'm willing to get shot in the face to find out. Come on, like
yeah, we all want to know.
Oh, I mean, like, how deep did that go? It's like, you know, it's like we're gonna do the nasty
Ew,
and
did you
make
just
the
ask how
hostages
deep
watch.
did that go?
They're
Do you
fans.
want to know?
I don't know.
that's what he said.
We're going to do the nasty and make the hostages watch.
Deep Space 69, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God, we bring Brittany back and it's just like...
I had a smoothie tonight. That's a lot of sugar.
Was it from Tropical
Party.
Smoothie?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
I love them.
I just DoorDashed
My
from
dad's
there.
upset. I did too. When?
I just picked yesterday. I picked up 2 Bahama Mamas.
Oh, I thought you meant today, and I was like 5 p.m.
No. Sorry, Hawk.
I'm good.
Giraffe.
Hey.
I haven't
now that
skipped you
we
yet.
are done arguing on Twitch again. That's the thing. If I pass last, I'm just like arguing with people on Twitch.
That's fair.
Yes. I fucking loved it because again, I'm gonna talk about that novel, Red Shirt, but there's like everything that happens like behind the walls of the corridors is fascinating to me. Like when people were pissed that in Discovery the inside of the ship was bigger than the outside, I was like, that's fucking great. I want to know why. And all these like Girafe tubes, like I'm always kind of pissed at Star Trek when like a console in a remote place, inaccessible in a ship. It's like, who the fuck designed that? Like,
engineer. He's like, no one's gonna
why?
accidentally touch this fucking button. Only I can get to it.
I love the hydroponic place, like under the hydroponic, because I have a question for the chat. Because there's an Easter egg there, and I don't know what it is, but I know it's an Easter egg. I think I may know it. I'm not sure. There's like a skeleton hidden
There is
in
a
the room.
skeleton, yeah.
And that's absolutely a reference. And I have like 2 ideas of what that may be. But if somebody knows the reference and tell me, yes, 100% it's this, please put it in the chat. Because like when I watched the screener, I totally like took a picture of it. And then I went through Memory Alpha trying to find what the fuck it was. And it's been like eating my brain since Sunday. So I love this. I love the holodeck because Lower Decks is finally giving us the truth about the holodeck that we all know, and that people go there to roleplay and bang.
fuck. Yep.
Let be honest. And I love the fact that like Shax and Tiana are like absolutely doing things that I would do. Like a piece of the action. Fuck yes. Like, yes.
Yeah.
I love this. And I love too that for once you see in Star Trek people having like their sex life and love life in a totally like not kink shaming
it's like a
way.
normal-
Yes.
It's kind of
And
healthy.
I think the last person was like Riker, and still there was kind of a judgment about like Riker being like that, you know, cool with sex and thinking it's a normal part of life, which it is. So I'm really happy for Shax and Tiana, you know, like interspecies couple too. Let's go.
They make it
Let's
work.
go.
Love
Make
it.
these hostage watch. Yes. So I was really about it. Like I think it was the best part of the episode. They could do a whole episode with just like crawling around the ship without telling me where they're going and why they're doing it, and I would watch.
I would love it. I
Someone
would
said
love it.
Eye of the Beholder.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
What?
MC writes Eye of the Beholder. Is that the reference for the skeleton? I
That
guess
just makes
we'll
me
find
think
out.
of D&D. 'cause
Why?
They do got eyes.
Why of the beholder?
I don't know. Explain,
Beauty's in the eye of the
MC.
beholder.
I'm
So
just gonna
many eyes and
mention. I'm gonna mention 2 moments before we move on. I already mentioned one of them because we were talking about it, but the whole like Mariner being in the egg and like Tendi just like slapping the shit out of them to get them to be able to like go and breathe oxygen again in the Jeffries tube is so classic. And like you see Mariner's eyes slowly like undilating. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry for that. She's like, no, I'm really sorry I made you hatch. And she's she just like wants to go back to the egg, and I love that so much. Anti-grav boy is
I expected him to burp so he could lower.
Yeah, like something.
I loved anti-grav boy, but what I really loved was after all the chaos of like Ransom being like, just let the deflector take care of it, was when they rescue him and they're all just like laughing hysterically because they all almost fucking died.
Yeah.
And Mariner just goes, anti-grav boy. And they just crack up even more. It's like they've come so far and they really are like the best of friends. So they can like laugh at almost certain death. It's a great moment. And, you know, that and the hatching are like my 2 favorite moments from this. We're going to talk about a little bit more of this in just a second, how this arc ends. But first, we are going to hear from our friends over at the Promenade Merchants podcast, who sent us a congrats for our 100th episode. So here is that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is David Majors from the Promenade Merchants podcast, and I'm joined by Heather Kirby. What's up, Heather?
What's up, David? I'm so excited to be here with you to record this little message to celebrate our friends at Strange New Pod on their 100th episode. That is an amazing milestone in the podcast community. And we are very happy for you guys and happy to be a part of celebrating it with you.
And I just want to give a special shout out to everyone over there at Strange New Pod for being just so cool, because they're a great Star Trek pod. They're a great podcast with great people. We met them at Mission Chicago, and we kind of crashed while they were recording at the time. But they were so cool, and they were such good sports about it, Heather.
Yeah, you know, like just to that was literally my first time at a live recording, and to just walk right up and have them be like, "Hey, it's the Prom Trek Pod guys. Come over here and say hello." Like, this is the type of people you guys are at Strange New Pod, and it's awesome. I just it's so heartwarming to be a part of these special milestone episodes for podcasts, because I gotta say I've been lucky enough to record things for other podcasts that have been a huge part of my recording journey for their milestone episodes, and to record something for you guys is just so great. You welcomed us with open arms. I am very glad to call you friends, and yeah, you guys are awesome.
You really are. Congratulations on 100 episodes, Strange New Pod.
Yay! We love
Thank you,
you.
David and Heather. That's super sweet. You guys rock so much.
You're the best.
We will have you on again very soon. Let's continue with our A plot here. The team gets trapped right near the end of their journey through the Cerritos, and they end up getting trapped with Delta Shift because they wind up in this room where the door only opens like every 10 or 15 minutes. I think it was longer than that.
For 10 seconds every hour.
10 seconds every hour. Thank you, Brittany. Damn, with the details. Love it. And during this moment, right, like it seems like they're going to put all their troubles aside. Like they're joking, they're shooting the shit about like caveman ransom. But then Delta Shift, they show their true colors when the door opens, screwing over Boimler, Mariner, and Tendi. Not very Starfleet. Obviously, they don't end up getting Tendi, they don't end up getting in the room before them, but they do end up getting in the room. But like, this is not very Starfleet of them, right? Like, or is it just, hey, that's Delta Shift?
That's
Erik?
Delta Shift. That's Delta Shift for sure. God damn. This was the perfect Stand By Me moment, and I loved it so much. And I really wish Will Wheaton had a ready room for this episode, because I would have loved to see his reaction to this sequence, because it felt so right. It felt like the bonding of two complete opposites, like two, when I bring back those university movies, like the two frats that are competing for, I don't know, a permit to have their big party on campus, like them coming together and be like, you know what, we can have a party together, guys. And oh man, it was such a lighthearted moment where these people can find, you know, some connection between these two rival groups, right? They could be friends, but I guess Delta just, you know, takes it to the extreme. The extreme. That being said, I think this might have been the start of maybe a spark of camaraderie or friendship between these two crews. They could end up helping each other in the future. I would love to see Delta crew more, and hopefully we will.
More Delta Shift versus Beta Shift. I like it. Brittany, before you go, Girafe, would you like to give the answer?
Say, Twitch chat always fucking deliver. And so the skeleton, after a lot of like conversation in parallel about like, is that the guy in like What Are Little Girls Made Of? You know, like the guy from the Addams Family. I don't remember his name, whatever. And actually, it's a Doppler that got lost there and died.
Oh, it's so dark.
Oh,
that's so fucking dark.
They referenced themselves. That's why I couldn't find the Easter eggs. I was so like, it must be something TNG or like TOS. No, it's Lower Decks. Good job.
Amazing.
What a time to be alive.
It is.
Incredible.
Brittany, your thoughts on that?
So, on the Delta Shift, I also love the moment, like the fact that they have to talk to each other and like get to know each other, and they have that kind of like semblance of understanding and friendship. But I like how the Delta Shift has always been like notoriously kind of the mirror version of like our main characters.
Yeah.
Down to the fact that like the three that were also on this little mission or whatever, basically paralleled them exactly. But I lost my train of thought for a second. I had it.
I don't even remember the question, so you get
Delta Shift not being very Starfleet-like, and then getting the room and doing the thing where they shared and actually being very Starfleet-like.
Yeah, they did mention being like, you know, that the normal like lower decks, I guess they're the B shift or whatever. They're like, oh, you're always so moral or whatever, better than us. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. If you've ever worked a job where there's a day shift and a night shift, you understand this exact dynamic. Because even if you have some overlap between the two shifts and you're like buddies with the night shift person, or maybe you were night shift and then you switched to day shift, there is going to be that rift. Because both people have their set amount of jobs, and then you take it like offensively when one person can't do one thing for you for the next day, and then it just compounds and like compiles. So I love that there's this like animosity between the day shift and night shift that still transcends in Star Trek, when like people are doing this because like it's a job for something they want to do. Like, you're not doing this because you have to do it for like, you know, who works the night shift when money isn't necessary? The Delta shift. Like, who would be on the Delta shift? This is just amazing, like, just to think of. So I just love how that little banter is in there, because so many of us could relate to that. But yeah, I wasn't surprised for 1 second that they were going to betray them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is cool, they're having this little heart-to-heart, but I was like, it's not going to last. So the minute that door opened, boom, they went out, kicked Boimler. I was like, ugh.
It's messed up. It's messed up.
But yeah, when they got there before Delta Shift, and they had that moment where they're just like, oh wait, it's not 4 rooms on like deck 1, it's 1 room on deck 4. What are we gonna do? Oh, we learned and we bonded over this friendship because we love each other. They're gonna ruin their friendship because of that. I was like, no, you idiots.
They're gonna share the fucking
They don't
room.
have this friendship like you do. They're not
The party room.
This is everyone. Yeah, so
We were all screaming at the TV. Why don't you just share the room?
yeah.
Bunk
And I
beds
love
are
how like
the thing.
afterwards you think they were gonna be in the bar like, huh, we had it right, we're friends, we're celebrating, but they're just like fucking Delta Shift, and I was like, 'cause you were stupid. Why did you do that?
Also suffering from brain damage.
Yep.
But yeah, thematically they had to stay in the lower decks, and that's fine.
Truth.
But part of me wanted them to have 4 bunk beds. Let's go.
Let's go. No.
Fucking Delta Shift. I love the parallel between this and last week. Remember how they were getting along with the lower decks crew from the Carlsbad and that, and there was like, wow, you guys don't look that, and they had a genuine moment of understanding, and and this one kind of seemed to mirror that, except for the fact that you knew that, like, once that door opened, that the Delta Shift
They had to give you the
totally
twist
screw
because
them
they gave
over.
you the nice one last week for sure.
Exactly. Other than that, everybody's kind of covered this pretty well, but just Delta Shift, they're just the worst.
They're the worst. They're the worst. Fuck you, Jellicoe. Fuck you.
Where was
They
their
should all just
Rutherford?
join the marquee.
That's what I
Yeah,
want to know.
yeah.
Was he also down there?
He might have been on mandatory shore leave,
Yeah,
right?
shore
With
leave.
Carol, yeah. Yeah.
Enter.
I really wonder, like, I want an episode that just like shows me the shifts because
just Delta Shift.
okay, so it's a starship, right? And
Yeah.
they have different species who have different circadian cycles because their planets have different, time of light and time of night, and maybe
Yeah.
they're a night species. I don't know, like, and basically on a starship, it's always day because it's always functioning, right? So how do they separate time? Who goes after who? Like, where is the gamma shift? Like, all this,
There's a fake
They have
Genesis
this thing
cave
called a
sun that they put into the ship to make the sun go up and
I just, I'm like, I want to see what the accountant of Star Trek does. Like, I'm like that kind of level of like interested in like the weird stuff. I want to see who, because I work like telling people where to go and when to go. I want to see who takes care of the shifts. How do you like allocate shifts to people? What
that's
happens if you take a
Ransom's
day
job,
off?
right?
What happened if you take a day off? Like, what happened if you want to change shift? Like, how is it? Like, what? I want to know. I just want to know because there must be people that you technically never see. Right? You cannot possibly meet them. So there's like a half of the ship that
Like they're working while you're sleeping.
exists outside of your knowledge, and I'm fascinated by this. I just want to know. And the other thing when they were like, we're like giving up the room like to be friends. Like, just think a minute how the lower deckers are in Strange New World. You remember that room they have with all the bunk bed in like Ghost of Illyria's with like their own private pod? I'm like, damn, it's like what, 100 years in the past?
Okay, but
Like, what
remember that's
happened?
the Enterprise, and this is like the support, like
This
the
is the
lowest tier
California
of
class.
support ships. So
They're the
Well, yeah,
Enterprise of the
that-
California class.
It's still weird that they don't have like the pods. Like, they could have pods. Come on.
I mean, I am surprised that like there's no like sliding door that
Yeah, it's like
gives them
literally a
little-
hallway and they
yeah.
just sleep in it.
There should be like at least what Ahura had in.
I think it's
on
just
the-
for
Yeah.
comedic value.
Yeah.
They wouldn't actually do that.
Are you good, Draft?
yes.
I agree that
I
they
don't
should
really
have
remember what we were
elements to
talking
that.
about.
No,
I
you
think
got
we
it. That
already
was
talked
it.
about
No,
it.
that was
It's
it. That was
good.
good.
Now that I know it's a dupler,
Give
I
me an
can sleep
episode
at
with
night.
every shift.
It's been obsessing me since
And
Sunday.
let
I
it be
am
the
not...
same 3 kind of character tropes too.
Yeah,
So
but
that there's
okay,
always a
one more
mariner.
question. Okay, for example, imagine Vulcan most probably doesn't have the same rotation than the Earth, right?
Yeah.
Nor is Telluride, not it's like Endor Prime, like all this, right? So Endoria, I don't know. This planet has changed names so many times
So
in
many
Star Trek.
fucking
Who
times.
fucking knows? So, like, how do you deal with people who have like these different like time awake? Like, what's the unit of time you use? Earth hour? Like,
I think
what the hell?
I think they train you to probably at Starfleet Academy for like what shifts are going to be before you wind up on a starship. Like,
So
right?
you learn like imagine you go work and like the hour is like 20 minutes instead of 60 minutes and you have like to adapt to this. So that's insane.
And MC does say DS9 is the only time they addressed it when it's on a 26-hour schedule. So there's that.
Oh,
Something.
because of Bejor.
That's because
Okay.
it's a
Whoa,
space
what just happened?
station.
Wow, what
Whoa.
happened? Oh, you know what happened? I was
jump
playing
out?
the other day on like I'm
put your
gonna
hand,
blame
you
the
raised your hand.
I'm gonna blame the fucking happy hour for this. So during the happy hour, we realized that there's a thing where Zoom can just recognize your hand. So if I do this, it recognizes that my hand is up. See, and then he's gonna put me first.
Don't do it again.
It's the raise hand reaction. It's supposed to be for classes.
Here we go. I'm sorry.
And meanwhile,
I'm
while
back.
Erik tries and to rearrange the windows now,
It's fine now. It's fine.
let's move over to the B plot with Carol ordering mandatory shore leave for engineering. She has some not so good misadventures as Manuki, and that ends up pushing Billups and engineering to its absolute like worst possible limits. Where Billups is so fucking tired, he's just like slapping the shit out of Shax. Is just like, dude, let it out. Let it out. I got you, big boy. It's okay. She realizes just like how overworked they've been cleaning up this like massive terraforming damage that's been done. Orders them to mandatory shore leave aboard the Dove. But Billups, Rutherford, all the rest of engineering, they don't adapt to this too well. They sneak in work like every which way. Like I have to say this. I know that Joe in our chat was mentioning it earlier. Like I so like, you know, feel the engineering part of this. Like, this is not a stereotype about engineers. I have friends who are engineers, and like, this is fucking engineers. Engineers act like
100%.
this. This is what they fucking do.
That was my point. I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
like go off on it, Erik. How funny was it to see them like this?
Every single engineer I know, like, they're stressed all the time, but the only way they can de-stress is by doing more engineering, which does not make sense in my brain. That's how they do. They like fixing things, and they like fixing problems. Like, I guess it's like when adults like me get Lego sets, and we're just like, you know what? To relax, I'm gonna put this fucking 14,000 pieces
Dude, it was
together.
Dude, we both did BD, right?
Yeah,
and
it was
like
up there somewhere.
Karen was like, yeah, it's 4 p.m. Like, where have you been? I'm like, wait, what? It's 4 p.m.
Exactly. But it's relaxing when you can try and fix something, you try and solve problems. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's just how, you know, you need to chill out just by solving something better. Yeah, did not surprise me at all that was going to be both the cause and solution of the captain's, problems. Like beer for Homer Simpson.
Like beer, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Brittany.
Yeah, I agree. I knew right away. I was like, these engineers are not going to relax the way you think, because they're like classic, workaholics. So I'm the same way. I was raised that way. I'm still trying to work my way out of it. But my way of relaxing when work gets too much is getting ahead on my work so that I can go a little slower my next day at work, or actually not work on the days that I have off. So. Yeah, I get it. I love when they put the cucumbers under the bands because they're just like, yeah, we relax so well, like we're doing a great job, and you just know that like you're like, Rutherford, how did you engineer your way out of relaxing? Cucumber.
I love the sand that they were like making a schematic
Oh my
in
God.
the sand.
Yeah, I knew immediately
That
when I
is
saw them raking. I was like,
genius.
they're making schematics. This is a
my
blueprint.
It was
Yeah.
so good.
I loved it. It was fun. I love Rutherford, so I just like seeing him.
We fixed the door because Bill was trying to explain.
part was so great.
We fixed the door.
The door was broken.
Oh man!
I love that they were too tired to explain the problem. They're just like, whatever, the door was broken and we're fixing it. They do it anyway.
Hawk.
This was great. I don't know, I don't know that much about engineers and that. Everything, you guys are saying about them makes sense, and that the only way they relax is by, actually tackling more problems and doing more engineering and that. So that makes total sense. I did get the impression that, but they were doing all this stuff to try basically de-stress Carol. She turned out to be the source of the problem the whole time and that, but I think the problem started when she didn't really ask them, well, how would you guys like to relax? And I think that would have been a better
Truth. Yeah.
Then, it's like, oh, okay, we'll go to this, a spa. And that, it's like, not everybody likes spas. And it's like
Who doesn't like a spa?
I fucking love spas.
I've never been to a spa.
I know people who don't like spas.
I can imagine.
That's true.
I got a shoulder massage one time, and the person said, "Oh my God, how do you live like this with the stress in your arms?" And I said, "I don't know. I've never gotten a massage before." And she said, "Ever in your life?" And I said, "Yeah." And that's the last time I got a massage.
Again, I don't go to spas, so I don't understand them. So they might be awesome, they might not be. But it's a bunch of it. It's a bunch of engineers. Find something that engineers like doing. It's like you put them in that situation, and then they're just going to engineer their way out of it, or engineer her into being happy.
MC had a great point. Just give them a box of scraps and let them work it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the most fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Giraffe.
Yeah, so see, we were talking about
Don't raise
Carol
your hand,
Freeman.
by the way.
No, I'm like putting back my bracelet, sorry. We're talking about Carol Freeman and how she deals with being a leader. And like that's 101 leadership, Take care of your own stress. Because if you're too stressed, then you cannot be a good leader. And I feel like are you still here?
We're still here.
We're still here. We're good.
Yeah.
You're back. You're okay.
Yeah.
You were frozen there
sorry.
for a sec.
Yeah, and I hear something too. Am I the only one?
No, I hear it
I
too.
hear
Don't
it
worry
too.
about it. Keep going.
Okay, good. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, okay, being a lead. Oh my God, I froze again.
You're still here. Keep going. You're good. Just keep talking.
Okay, but then I all see you like being like. It's very complicated to be focused like this. So
She's getting beamed into the pattern buffer.
yes. Being a leader is like being able to take care of your own stress. And because you know how to take care of stress, you can help your teams go through it. Like how a captain goes like these like extreme ways of stress with nobody being here for her, which I say again, she needs a mentor. She needs like somebody to check in. Ransom is too much of an idiot. I mean, to be
He's like a
here and be. Because if you look at TNG, because that's like a plot from TNG, right? The captain needs holiday, right?
Yeah.
And Riker is here to be, no, you need to go. Same for Deanna Troi. I know you feel good in the job, but that's not what you should be doing. And please go rest, which he doesn't do, but whatever. And Carol Freeman doesn't have that. Like they just let her go into ultimate burnout after being possessed and like trying to take care of the engineering team. So she's like the mother, like your mom is always trying to like take care of everybody and then nobody takes care of the mom, drill. So, and the only way for her to finally get distressed is when the engineer machine that magically helps her being distressed, but which is not a solution. Right?
Yeah.
Because she hasn't learned how to not go into this extreme situation. She doesn't have a solution she can replicate. And her team just like magically engineer their way into making her not broken so she can break again. So there's a lot of question again. Like Lower Decks, being funny, but like that makes me reflect on myself. I'm like, I'm in a position of leadership. How do I take care of myself? Because you start by taking care of yourself before being able to help people. And that's why she cannot help her engineering team, right? Because she doesn't know how not being herself in this situation. And she tries to find solution for her team that doesn't work and kind of work for her in the end because she goes into extreme. Like listen, people, never go to burnout. You have to be able to stop before. So
like her issue was that she mandated the spa day. It's not like take shore leave to relax, because they could have done their own thing at that time to relax. It's like making your team go to like one of those
retreats
and those team working places that I fucking hate.
I fucking hate
just
it.
buy us pizza and let us go home early.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's like my boss was like, "Oh, let's all have dinner together and relax," which is a good idea, and thank you very much. But you know what? I want to go home and play video games. I don't want to have dinner with anybody when I'm tired.
But yeah, this is talking about like what we're going to talk about the last question. So let's just like keep going on it. Like this is such a thing that Starfleet does all the time, right? Like this isn't the only trauma she's had, right? Like after being turned into Manuki, she's also back on a vessel after being accused of blowing up a fucking planet. Like that's a big deal. And then she's just, oh shit, okay, we're going back out there. Like look at what they did with Jean-Luc. He gets assimilated. He's back in command of the Enterprise. I know there's some downtime with it getting repaired, but still, he's back in command pretty quickly. Then after getting tortured by the Cardassians, he's back in command again. Like Ben Sisko's been through shit. Janeway's been through shit. Fuck Jonathan
Don't you
Archer.
think it's
But
about
like
an image of like the time that produced this series? Because like mental health was like literally not a thing in the 90s, you know? Like,
but they always
be a badass.
Exactly. They always put their captains back out in the field after like a major trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but you see difference in Discovery, for example, where there's, I mean, not a big difference because Detmer just like going through PTSD without anybody noticing, but you do see more conversation, and you do see Culbert being here for the crew and trying to address the trauma they all gone through. And I do think that Star Trek, because it's a utopia, they tend to brush over like, oh, people don't get like,
go work it off in the holodeck.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's my main problem with the short track. Ask Not.
Yes, Ask Not.
Yes.
Yep.
Because you're like, how are you like training your security officer through freaking trauma? Like insane
That's every
situation.
cadet. Every cadet. Yeah.
Like, that's not a solution. And we always joke that the next day they don't remember, but basically it's what you have to do when you have no room for care. And again, we see Carol Freeman going through all these like insane thing. And for example, our reaction the previous episode where she's like with the stone and she absolutely wants to give it to the the other captain. That's not a normal way to interact. And I know Lower Decks is a comedy, and I know it's made like to be like, oh, the captain is wacky, but Lower Deck is a very smart series too, and you have like all these level of reading that you can do throughout. And we all see them going through mentorship and finding support. Like for example, like the Lower Deckers are like going through support. You see them being like, what is it like, who's gonna feed the rabbits, like being high as hell, like while the engineers are like trying to engineer their way out of it. But nobody takes care of Carol Freeman. Think about it. Nobody takes care of her.
Absolutely.
And when her daughter tries to take care of her, she takes care of her in a totally misguided way that makes Carol Freeman actually having to take care even more of her daughter. So I hope at some point there's gonna be these like flip where they're gonna realize that you need to take care of your leader as much as the leader needs to take care of you. Even if the engineer kind of like showed it today, kinda. It is not a solution. You cannot like magically engineer your way out of like terrible job condition, right?
Yeah,
so.
Agreed. Any other thoughts on Carol getting thrown back out into the trauma? No, it's all right.
You're good.
It was good. It was
just
perfect.
Sprinkled in the hint that sometimes it's on the leadership is the one having the problem.
Even
so
Shax mentions it a little bit during the holodeck, right?
Yeah.
He's like, we haven't talked about me just coming back, and like
we haven't talked about me dying.
Yeah,
man.
Which is insane. Like, think about it. If you're like,
why does Mariner want to be in an egg and not hatch? Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, that's a big deal too.
Like, needing to go to therapy this whole season.
Yeah.
And she's growing like a little bit more, but they're just like, you really need to go back to therapy. When like the fantasy episode happened, which was great, by the way.
Yep. Yep. Anything else on this? Hawk? No, you're good.
No, I'm good. No,
good.
It's just surprising. Like, we think about it. Yeah, it's like Girafe said. We think about it as a comedy and silly and that, and yet there's so many deeper layers to it.
Always sprinkled in. Always with Lower Decks. Before we get into our final thoughts, we're going to play our last video and then another one more congrats after that. But let's hear from our good friend Fathery from Text Trek, who sent us some congrats for our 100th episode. Erik.
Howdy, howdy. This is Fathery, host of the Text Trek podcast and YouTube channel, beaming in from aboard the Starship Texas, where we broadcast our show from, because I have been informed that this is an incredible, ceremonious moment in Star Trek fandom history. One of the greatest podcast of all time, Strange New Pod, has arrived at 100 episodes. So congratulations to Julian and the rest of the gang over there. That is just really, really incredible. I'm so happy for you, and I'm honored to be part of your pod centennial. And so I just hope that everyone is able to celebrate and have a good time and pat yourselves on the back, because you sure as hell deserve it. And part of the experience of this fandom, of especially on the content creator side, where it is a lot of work, and the one of the many joys that comes from this is just the interactions, the connections that we form over the years. And so I've taken a lot of delight in meeting people that do similar things that I do to celebrate Star Trek and enjoy Star Trek. Some of us want to get in front of microphones or get in front of cameras and talk about Star Trek and share the experience with more people. And it brings a lot of us together. And sometimes it's just makes you feel a little bit more sane when you see there's other people that are just as crazy as you and just focused on the same hobbies as you. And so it was a real delight, getting to meet y'all in Chicago. And then I had a lot of fun in Las Vegas, hanging out with Girafe. So hi, Girafe. Congratulations on your terrific showcase. You represented Romulus very well and gloriously during Star Trek Day. So that was really cool. I was cheering for you. I was excited for you when I saw that. But yeah, I just want y'all to keep on rocking and rolling. I think the best thing to do is to think of this as your first 100 episodes. Better not be the last. Keep going. There's plenty of Star Trek coming in the future. Things are looking bright, and I am just really happy to be enjoying this new Latinum age of Star Trek, as I guess some people are calling it, with y'all and all the other great fans, great content creators, great talent making a lot of this Star Trek. There's just a true embarrassment of riches right now, and thank you so much for being part of that. Live long and prosper, y'all.
There's a delay on Twitch. It's already done.
Oh, sorry. We're listening at the same time. So you just stared at us while we're listening to the
He just ended.
video.
Fathery, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And wow, putting us in the greatest Star Trek podcast of all time. I don't know if we're there yet, but the praise is very welcome, sir. Thank you so much. And I don't know if we ever said it live on our pod, but happy 250 to you as well. Is somebody still playing?
Yeah, there's somebody's playing this. We
That's
have
me.
technical difficulty.
No,
That's you, Julian?
That's me being a doofus. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine was muted.
No, that was
Is that
me. No, that was totally me. Congrats to you as well on such a big milestone, and we'll have to have you on at some point. I know our schedules run differently, so it's a little hard to get you on, but we're gonna make it happen.
I got to take Fathery to my home country, Paris, aka Vegas, and it was great. So
Yeah. Any other final thoughts on this episode before we move on to the Easter egg hunt?
I loved it.
Yes,
Who doesn't like
I loved
warm
it.
churros?
I fucking.
Oh yeah, we
35
didn't address the fact that True Olivia exists somewhere, but I'm yes. Again, so much mental health issues.
Yeah, Ransom. Well, we know Ransom's got issues, right? Oh man. Good. All right, before we get into the Easter egg hunt, we have another congrats from our really good friend Jesse Gender, who joined us for our first ever episode of Strange New Worlds. The whole reason that we started this podcast, Jesse was our first guest to talk about the premiere of that. It was such an honor to have her on, and here's her 100th episode. Congrats to us. Here we go.
Hey there, Strange New Pod folks. Absolutely congratulations on 100 episodes. Absolutely congratulations? That's a phrase that people use, right? Anyways, yes, like seriously, congratulations. All of you are such wonderful, amazing people. The chance that I got to come on your episode about the premiere of Strange New Worlds was truly a really heartwarming and wonderful experience, because I just love getting the chance to nerd out and geek out with people who not only love to just talk Trek and just talk about this franchise that I adore and love so much, but also are willing to engage with it critically, able to talk about like the problems with Trek and the things that that it's gotten wrong over the years, but then also use that not as a path to be like, oh, this is just criticism, but use that as like an opening to talk about deeper and bigger issues. And I just really loved getting to do that with all of you, and it was just such a lovely, amazing conversation with lovely, amazing people. And on top of that, I mean, just the joy that all of you have, that just it just matches my own soul in terms of just the love that we have of this franchise, and just the love of just what this series and franchise and shows have to say about coming together and taking delight in all of our differences and each other. And I really feel like, Star Trek embodies that, and you all embody that. Like, just this podcast and all of you together, I think really, I think just embody that ideal. And it's why I love this community of Trekkies so much. And it is just exactly what all of you embody. I was so honored to meet some of you at Star Trek Chicago. I was so honored to meet you in that podcast. Girafe, it was so awesome to see you on Star Trek Day, getting to be a Romulan. That was freaking so cool. And I was so excited to be like, I just love the fact that like it's a big Star Trek event. It's like this big, corporate-y CBS Paramount thing. And yet I still feel like I know everybody on that stage, from the fans to like the actors. It just feels like this really loving, amazing family. And I am so honored to be part of your Trekkie family as you are part of mine. And so with that said, congratulations on 100 episodes. And I look forward to listening to 100 more. And Lower Decks season 3, right? Hell yes. And Strange New Worlds season 2 coming. And oh my gosh, Discovery and Prodigy. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's going to be great. All I'll say to end on is, number 1, live long and prosper. And number 2, when you asked me to come back on, I want to talk to y'all again. Love y'all.
Jesse, you're welcome on any damn time. You know that.
Absolutely.
You know that. We'd love to have you on again.
I like the fact that between all our friend podcasts, we're just like demanding to go back on podcasts. I'm like, I demand to go back on the Jurassic Show, and I demand to go back on Where's Bev, and I demand to go. And Where's Bev was like, you don't have to demand anything. You just show up. I was like, okay.
Open invitation.
Some people have the Zoom link. Dude, some people still have the fucking Zoom password, which I haven't changed from Captain Picard week.
I still did
my God, they can just fucking show up.
After I resigned.
Oh,
don't do that.
God.
It's going to mess up the windows.
No, yeah, please don't. Ask us ahead of time so Erik can prep. As always, guys, during our Easter egg hunt, I have a list here, but I will let you scream some out before we go through this list. Easter eggs that you found. Hit it. Anybody. Random. Chaos. Go.
Weird
Hawk, I saw your
one
hand
was
first.
at the beginning when when Captain Freeman was possessed by the mask and that called herself Manuke instead of Masaka, right? Manuke, I think, is a short story. It was written by a Nigel Neal, and apparently this was
I'm Googling that right now.
yeah, it's a poltergeist story, and that apparently might have been actually the inspiration for the Poltergeist movie. So
nice.
Ooh. Yeah,
nice. That's a deep cut. I like it.
Wasn't there a casino heist, sort of like the black and white heists in the holodeck? I feel like that was a thing in TNG.
On the train, right?
So.
Like on the train with like that weird
there was a heist
engineering thing.
There's got to be multiple heists. On
well,
TNG,
I mean,
right?
Girafe
I
called
don't
it
know,
out
for
a piece
me,
of the action.
Piece of
right?
action. Yeah, for me, it was like really like, a piece of the action with like the gun and all this.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It really
Yeah.
reminded me of First Contact, really, when Picard grabbed the Tommy gun.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
just like, no.
Watch a caboose, dicks. I intend to.
I mean, for me, there was like all the Captain's Holiday throwback, mandatory holiday. And like they're wearing that short, like white thing with the belt and Picard wears all the time, like his pajamas.
The little robe.
The little robe, short robe. The head of the spa says sensors and not sensor, so sensor, so that's a callback. The Jordy visor on the engineer.
Yes.
I write fucking pile of stress. I think that's just like I just write like lines I liked in the thing. And one of the guys that work at the spa. So at first I was like, oh, is that like one of these guy, like like the guy that helps like Loxana and Troy? But then I think it's actually one of the non-gender, not finished android. The Lal before she becomes Lal. I think one of the guys at the spa is one of these like unfinished. Before he says that Lal, his daughter. She has like no feature, no nothing.
Yes, that's right.
I think one of the guys in the spa is that unfinished android. Or the guy that helps Luxon and Troy. I don't remember. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's definitely something. Okay, I need some help. So I somehow know that Orion were immune to hallucinogenics. Is that like canon? Is that fanon? What is it? Where do I know that?
It was hallucinogenics. It was the fact that there was like high nitrous levels or nitrogen levels instead and low oxygen.
Yeah, and I guess they can breathe
survive
that.
without oxygen.
In all like fan fiction and so on, Orions cannot be drugged because they're like immune to this. So I'm like, is that a callback to like Enterprise, to TOS? I can't remember.
And maybe that episode of Discovery where the Orion drugs Tilly.
Yeah, and like yet again, like she's like immune to anything altering her, her judgment. So I'm like, is that me reading too many fan fiction, or is it a thing? Which is most probably both. And I wrote original Android exclamation point. So yeah, and that's it. That's all I have.
The Boimler,
and a doubler.
Willy Wonka.
And a doubler.
Boimler, Willy Wonka.
The Stand By Me. Them sitting in that and reminiscing.
Yeah.
Stand By Me, for sure.
Yeah. Any others? Okay, good.
I didn't really have any.
I will go down the list. We talked about at the top of the show, but the cold open and aftermath of that are throwback to Masks, TNG season 7. Depends on who you talk to. People love it. People hate it. It is just a crazy fucking episode of Star Trek. Mariner saying Delta Shift shouldn't even exist is just a constant lower decks knock to Captain Jellicoe and him hounding Riker to fucking get a Delta Shifts on the Enterprise. No, it was never a good idea. That's that. The head of the Dove Spa is an Adosian, the same species as Arax from the animated
series. Yes.
Yep. And then Ransom becoming a caveman and eating and making a woman out of churros. Maybe a knock at Riker also becoming a caveman in the TNG episode Genesis.
That's gotta be right.
Right?
It made me think like of this episode of Enterprise where like they go like all caveman like too.
Yeah, there's
Remember
that one.
this?
Oh yeah, when they're stuck in the cave.
Yeah.
It's always a caveman episode.
Yeah.
Oh, they stuck
And
somewhere.
then Haven did mention that the mud from the mud baths aboard the Dove come from the Tellarite homeworld Teller Prime. So.
And MC said that the mud bath is also a reference to that episode where Loxana takes Alexander and Worf to the mud bath.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
The higher, the fewer.
I think
pointed out.
I think that's all the Easter eggs.
Maybe she was trying to relieve stress. More. We're coming to a close soon.
Ouch.
Trying to get
Oh boy. We have one more congrats, and that is from our dear friends Ashlyn and Brianna over at the Duras Sisters. So that is the final one we will play. Let's listen to that.
Hello, strange new pod. Rihanna Hurd here from the Duras Sisters podcast. Julian, Erik, Hawk, and Girafe, I am so proud of you for making it to the 100th episode. That is so amazing. You are such an incredible podcast and one that we aspire to be every day. We're so lucky to know you and just really are excited to see what you all do next. We love you, and kapla! Hi, it's Ashlyn from the Duras Sisters podcast. I just want to wish Strange New Pod and the whole family a happy 100th episode. I am so thrilled for you all. It has been such a honor to watch you grow your fan base in your Trek, and it was truly an honor to see Girafe on the stage at Star Trek Day. So very happy for you all. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you, Duras Sisters. You guys
They're lovely.
rock. Yes, they really are.
Oh,
They're
yes.
amazing. Yep. Let's rate this one, guys, out of 10 hot churros in an unmarked paper bag. Erik, we will start with you. Go ahead.
I give this a 10. I really like this episode. I think it's the first 10 I gave this season. And,
Yeah,
you know,
I think so, yeah.
this one, well deserved.
Agreed. Brittany?
10 out of 10. It made me feel just as moist and warm
As those churros?
as Churro Olivia.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Moist
I agree
and
with
warm.
Erik. It's probably the first episode I'd give a 10 out of 10 for. I really liked the one last week too, but this one I really was like, this is my gang. I love them.
Nice. Hawk?
I'll go. It's an easy 9 out of 10 for me. Like I said, there's so many layers to it. It's a great episode.
Nice. Girafe?
I'd say 9 out of 10. Good episode. It's solid. It's fun. Like, they've been very, it's hard to give a 10 out of 10 because like every episode is like such the same degree of accomplishment of like good storytelling, except I think we didn't like the premiere so much because like it let us down. But every single episode so far is like so steady. Like I know I'm gonna have a good time. I know it's gonna be fun. Does it blow my mind every time? Not really, but it's like I know that I'm gonna get a good episode of Star Trek, and that's amazing.
Great answer. Haven writes, there were 30 churros in the bag, therefore I'd rate it a 6 out of 30. Okay. MC, a 9.5 out of 10 forbidden kittens for de-stressing. Joe gives it a 9 out of 10 anti-grav boys. Anti-grav boy. Riftwood, Chris gives it a 9.5 out of 10 animals with walking assistant devices.
You little guy, you keep doing your thing.
No, when Carol was like, dogs, and I was like, that one doesn't even have a leg.
I'm gonna go with Erik and Brittany. This is my first 10 of the season, 10 and 10. There's nothing I didn't love about this episode. I loved it. It was amazing. I love Erik. Kind of stole everything I wanted to say about this episode tonight. Keep referencing it to Stand By Me, and this was like such a great Stand By Me episode. Like I loved that just like camaraderie feeling that this gave us. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Brittany gives another 10 out of 10 on Twitch. So we'll read hers twice because she's here. So why not?
That was for our people.
We have one more special announcement before we get into the poll and mailbag, and that is Captain Picard Week 2 is happening. Ooh. Hell yes. So excited to make this early announcement. We'll obviously in the future have other podcast festivals later down the line, but this will be the final Captain Picard Week podcast festival since Picard is ending with season 3. So last year's festival, so much fun, such a hit. Like podcasts keep talking to us about it and messaging us like, we had so much fun when we're doing it again. So with that said, we cannot wait to start planning for this one. Captain Picard Week 2 will take place February 9th through February 15th, leading right in to the Picard Season 3 premiere. We're going to start taking applications for pods and content creators soon, but if you are interested now and want to shoot us an email just letting us know that you want to be involved or a DM, do that. We will we'll also contact you when applications open up. So Captain Picard Week 2 is happening. Can't wait to share more with you guys about that one. With that being said, let's get into our subspace to poll and mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
And this week we asked Trek Twitter what they thought of episode 304, Room to Grow. And this is what they had to say. Who wants to take the subspace to poll?
Brittany.
Brittany should do it.
Brittany does.
Because the to-poll is a pun. Okay, 59% said all the mani-pedis. 35% said anime eyes.
Oh my god, so good.
I love the anime eyes.
0% said room for growth.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 6% said full black band.
Who are you, 6%? Who are you? Yeah.
People that are very stressed.
Unhappy
Star Trek couldn't
people.
help.
Unhappy people. Unhappy.
Ooh, I had a question.
Yes.
Is there any way you can name Captain Picard Week 2, Electric Boogaloo?
MC wrote that there, and
Yeah,
it's kind of
MC
beautiful.
wrote, like-
yeah.
And then Eric
I was
wrote
waiting to
Picard
make the
Week
joke,
2, the
but then you went straight to
Picardening.
poll.
I like both answers
Picardening.
a lot.
And then Beautiful Man wrote Borgaloo.
The Borgaloo.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Simon wrote
Borgaloo.
Well,
Electric
MC, we
Borgaloo.
had the same joke planned, and I love
like
you for it.
I like it. Let's get into our mailbag. We'll just go in the order of going all night. Eric, can you
Buick.
take Buick's?
Wrote. Greatest ever take on Starship Mine.
That's a good reference, right? That's the one where Picard goes all badass and Tim Russ is
it's the Die Hard Star Trek episode in
Yep, exactly. Yep. Brittany, MCs, please.
MC wrote, probably my favorite of the season, mostly because of the usage of the secondary characters. I adore Billups, and Shax and Ta'ana are my favorite Star Trek pairings. This season seems to be showing our lower deckers as a unit, with one peeling off for a sub-story. It makes me think this episode has a portent towards the end of the season, with our gang being split up due to growing out of their roles as lower deckers. No!
I do think that's going to happen. And listen, no spoilers here. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season, but I'm getting that vibe that we're going to have
They're gonna start
some
getting promoted.
promotions
Yeah.
and splits. Yep.
What if they all get promoted?
That would be so fun.
They all
That would
get
be so
promoted
lower
except
decks.
for Boimler.
Or Mariner
Or get
gets
their
drummed
ship.
out.
Yeah.
They all just move up one floor at a time. every so many seasons.
Can you take Havens, please?
Haven wrote, this season has been a miss for me. I don't know what it is, but it feels so different compared to the love I gained for seasons 1 and 2. But I feel like it's already in coasting mode for the season. I hope it gets better, but the feeling we all had near the end of Picard seasons 1 and 2 is how I'm already feeling for Lower Decks. But also in the spirit of where's Beverly, where's Jennifer?
She's
Also,
coming, I promise.
I mean,
there was a whole thread on the Twitch about that too.
There was.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I said that.
Also, congratulations to Strange New Pod for reaching 100 episodes.
Oh, thank you, Haven. Draft, can you take Jesco's, please?
Yes. Jesco wrote, that was such a fun episode. Absolutely my favorite of the season. The cold open with Masaka was hysterical. And I love the scene with Shax and Tiana bonding. I feel it's the first real window we've got into their relationship outside of the mutual lust. It's sweet seeing more of the crew making this truly an ensemble show. But as Heaven said, where is Jennifer? Cannot wait to hear her and Mariner's relationship unfold. Overall, 8 out of 10 puppies.
Nice. Zendara wrote, the trippy psychedelic scene made me so happy. Yes, 100%. I love when Star Trek plays with warbly colorful graphics. Live action Stamets and Reno trip so hard that cartoon Boimler and Mariner could trip harder. That's
Hey, I have an
awesome.
idea. What if the Strange New World Lower Deck episode is Strange New World crew being under like the influence of something and tripping so hard they imagine Lower Decks?
Oh my god.
They trip Lower Decks into existence.
That'd be amazing. Oh my god. Eric, take us home with NY Relights, please.
NY Rawlight wrote, I love the episode. It had the desired effect of lowering my stress level. I'd watch a whole episode of Ta'ana and Shax playing Bonnie and Clyde, or maybe it should be Diane and Clyde.
Kinky sex name.
I assume we got a take on the Kelvin vs. Carol Marcus stripping to her undies scene when Mariner and Tendi's uniforms were blown off in the deflector room. I didn't think of that.
I don't know. They didn't get blown
their
off. They
underwear
purposely
before.
stripped so they could save Boim Boim. But yeah, I get it.
I'm just disappointed that they don't have Starfleet issued underwear because we know that our Durag issued
On the
underwear.
comic book cover, Boimler does. He's got Starfleet Delta undies.
And who doesn't?
Like, I'm just like, there are like literally deltas on like their hypo spray, on their pillows, on like everything. And you're like, you don't have deltas on
Wine
your freaking
glasses.
underwear? Come on.
Maybe they're on the
Like-
inside. I don't know. Like the little, like, you know how you have a little tag?
Like
a
in
little
the
It's there.
inside, and you like put like
No, like the label or something. Maybe it's a little like a little logo on the inside.
you know, Starfleet. They're gonna have like one
I know, they want it big
giant
on the
delta
outside.
on your butt, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like booty shorts that say something.
Make it
Bold
so.
Make it
so.
I have
Boldly
undies on the
go.
back that say make it so. So they do exist.
Boim.
Wow. 100 episodes, guys. That's it. It's a wrap. It's gonna do it. Brittany, before we go and we let you go, what do you have going on? Where can people find you these days?
It's me. Okay, so if you didn't already know me, many of you do, but you can find me anywhere on social media as Vocal Tones, and you can follow me and see me pursue my voice acting career, which is going well so far. Taking lots of classes. Up late at night, you'll see weird tweets, and you can also hear me. I narrated this month's queer history lesson for
Yeah.
Academy. So if you love Thundercats, fun fact: the guy that voiced Panthro, Earl Hyman, was part of the LGBT community, so you can learn all about him via the bio that I narrated online. So check it out. Follow me on social media, and one day you will hear me, probably, in Star Trek.
Can't wait
Let's
for that.
go.
Let's go. Let's go.
One day at a time.
Guys, first of all, to you guys for going on this journey for the past 2.5 years and 100 episodes. Cannot do it without each and every one of you every week. Thank you for being the most amazing fucking co-hosts I could ask for. I love you, all of you. I love you. To the other amazing podcasts out there who sent in and content creators who sent in videos and audio clips for us to play. Thank you so much. We love you just as much. This community of Trek podcasts is amazing. Can't wait to keep going. We're going to call it a night. For Girafe, for Hawk, for Erik, for Brittany, I am Julian. I will say live long and prosper, Maj Ram, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you YouTube and Spotify like what you hear, put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.